Let me go ahead and show this now. Hold on.
This black man's land was stolen and turned into the business administration building at the University of Alabama, Huntsville. And the well he had in his backyard that provided everyone in the area with fresh water is now a parking lot. The family of Willie Jones wants justice, and they want their land back. But the university wants to offer an apology and a plaque. But that ain't enough. Let's talk about it. In the 1950s, the land that Willie Jones had contained a house and a well. He was graciously known in his community for providing fresh water for his neighbors. Around that time, the city of Huntsville traced a clean water source to Willie's home, and they wanted it. So in 1958, the city of Huntsville offered Willie $900 for the portion of land that included the well. That's only about $9,000 today. So of course, Willie was like, nah, you can't have my land. So in typical white supremacist fashion, they condemned the land and considered it uninhabitable and unsafe. Since he wasn't able to live in the house at that moment and still needed to provide for his family, Willie began sharecropping at various homes in the area. One particular place was described as a house in the woods. And while they lived in these homes, they never received any mail from the city. But at the same time, the city was actively attempting to confiscate the land that Willie still owned. Now that land is this, and this right here too. So Willie Jones's descendants need justice. So share this, sign the petition, and stay tuned for part 2.
Are you surprised?
Come on. This is America we talking about here.
What's that lake? Is it Lake Lanier that was flooded, a black town?
Yeah.
In Georgia? In Georgia?
I think so. It's one up north.
That's another one up north, but a lot of these,
and I think it's one in the Midwest.
A lot of these lakes, they flooded.
It was Lake Michigan. Matter of fact, it was the Central Park in New York.
Yeah.
It was the Central Park in New York.
That's how they do you, man.
There was black people.
All right. Detroit marks Black Bottom neighborhood lost when I-375 built.
When you say black, when I think of the bottoms, it always take me back to the show In the Heat of the Night. When the black people lived, they called it the bottoms.
From 1930s to 1950 to Detroit East Side, there was bustling, predominantly black neighborhood with a unique culture all its own. 70 years later, there's not much of the history left to be seen. We're talking about Black Bottom. It's a historically rich and culturally significant area in the city of Detroit, said a local historian, Jamin Jordan, who is tied to all of our history, no matter what group of people you come from. On Monday, Mayor Mike Duggan and other community leaders met to commemorate the neighborhood with a new historic marker, saying every longtime family in the city has heard stories from their parents, their great-grandparents about Black Bottom and Paradise Valley. So much of what we have today come from that area. The marker was erected in July 16 at 1600 East Lafayette Street across from Chrysler Elementary School. Others attendants include Sharon Sexton, Barbara Smith, co-executive, we know that. For Smith, it was vital that the neighborhood where Black Detroiters thrive and made their own mark to be remembered for what it brought to the city.
I'm trying to stay serious. It's always history in these places.
Black Bottom was a predominantly black neighborhood bounded by Brush Street, Garrett Avenue, and Grand Trunk Railroad tracks. Black Bottom derived its name from the dark fertile topsoil that was part of the riverbed of the river Savoyard, which was buried as a sewer in 1827. Adjacent to Black Bottom was Paradise Valley, the entertainment and business district that served the community within Paradise Valley. There were black-owned drugstores, restaurants, beauty salons, and rich nightlife that offered nightclubs such as Horseshoe Bar and Club Harlem.
They had a Club Harlem there.
And I'm not even going to that.
Yeah, go ahead. Or what Harlem was called?
Harlem can be adjacent to Jerusalem. All right, MDOT's on the project aims to rebuild what it destroyed. So basically, this bustling neighborhood existed, black neighborhood existed, and they built a highway through it. As we know, a lot of these white people do that because when white people want to get from one side to the other side and they don't want to drive through the black area, they'll just build a highway through the black area so that the white people can drive through it rather than have to go through the neighborhood.
Yeah, they want to be safe.
Yep. Okay, you tested right there. So if they want you to stop and actually enjoy a city, they'll put an avenue. If they want you to go around something, they'll put a highway. So as you can see, that hurts the businesses in the area. The property value goes down, all that other stuff. So it hurts. And they do this to a lot of black neighborhoods, obviously.
Or they love to have the cash trucks on the highway just driving through the black city. All this cash.
Yeah. So yeah, now they're saying they're gonna get rid of the highway and they're going to put an avenue with a plaque, a historical marker for what was there. So this is like a oops, sorry. We want to say sorry for what happened back then, but what's done is done. So ain't nothing you really can do. I want to show this one. TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
I don't want to be on it.
But
I don't want to be on it. I didn't say we don't want to be on it.
Oh yeah, now you're going. But there's a lot of stuff on there apparently. Let me show y'all what somebody posted.
Watch this incoming stitch. From Mississippi. My folks are from Arkansas, and don't judge. And every Saturday there's a siren that goes off at noon. Every Saturday. It had been that way since we had moved here. We moved here back in '92. I was like 6, right? And every Saturday it goes off at noon on the dot. So my grandfather would commonly come over, cut the yard and stuff like that, spend some time with us. And as a teenager, one time he was cutting the yard and the siren went off. And he just kind of got in the mood. And I'm like, what's wrong? He's like, I can't stand that siren. And I'm like, well, why? I mean, they taught us in school, like in elementary school, that it was to make sure that the siren was still operable, right? So they did it every Saturday at noon. And he said, no, baby.
Oh, my God.
We lived in a town where every...
That was a fire.
That was
we
don't know what it was.
Literally just right now, y'all.
Uh-oh.
I just realized.
Is George gonna say you lying?
I just realized that growing up, every day at 12 o'clock, an alarm would go off. Every day.
Not every day.
No, it was
It was once a week, just like she said. It was not every day.
I remember every day.
It was either on Saturdays or Sundays.
I remember in school it would go off. You maybe you're right, but it would go off. It would go off for about 30 seconds to a minute, something like that.
About a minute.
That just hit me just now. Anyway.
That is not what the siren is for whatsoever. It has nothing to do with making sure it still operates. He said that years ago, that siren would go off solely to inform the black community that they're now allowed into town. So on Saturdays when you have to go shop, grocery shop, go around and about, black people weren't allowed to do that until noon. In order to give community opportunity to get their grocery shopping together, to.
So you get the point.